I started a YouTube channel in 2015. I was selling radios at the time on a website, and I kept getting the same question over and over again about how to program and how to do this one thing on this one radio. So I just made a very ugly video on YouTube. And I didn't look at that video for like 5 or 6 months. I just put it up on YouTube. I would send people the link, and probably a couple, 3 dozen people, something like that. People would call me and email me and say, oh, here, go watch this. Towards the end of that year, maybe around January of 2015, I went back and looked at that video, and it had 6,000 views, and I'm like, what just happened?
Welcome to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and your life. I'm super excited. We're here today at Video Marketing World 2022, and this episode is brought to you by Real News PR, Public Relations. They make us look like $1 million. We're super excited to be here with our very special guest today. We've got Jason Johnston in the house, and Jason, we were just talking behind the scenes, and he was telling me a little bit about how he got started in his career. You were like mowing lawns at the age of what?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep. Started a friend of mine, a friend at the time, and I just started doing that, and we're like, hey, people are willing to pay us for it, so we started our own business. It was just, nothing official, right? So we did that, and I did that for 5 years until I was 17 years old in high school, and really the only reason I had to go get a job then was because I was in the marketing co-op in high school, and I had to have a job over the winter, which you don't mow lawns over the winter, not in this area. So I was like, well, and I've told my wife 100 times, if that had been a seasonal thing, or if non-seasonal, a year-round thing, I'd probably still be doing it today.
Hey, I'm tell you what, I did it too. I remember pushing that lawnmower around, going down the street, knocking on doors.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't really have a whole setup. I just had the lawnmower, and I would just push it around, and people would let me into their backyard and do the thing.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
And then I remember growing up, I had I promise you never wanted to mow our lawn, okay? Because our lawnmower broke down, and for whatever, we were really poor. We couldn't afford it. The grass grew to like 2-3 feet tall, was really, really high. And I remember when we finally got the lawnmower back and running, like, you had to put it at an angle, like
yeah.
to get
yeah.
And then you'd have to get all the grass out and be like, and then like, but yeah, it was pretty bad. But so you were doing that, mm-hmm. And then what happened next?
Well, I went to college and decided that wasn't for me. I never graduated college.
What was it about college that you didn't enjoy?
I just, everything in my career has been so hindsight 2020. At the time I didn't think about it, but I don't know. I just don't learn. I don't learn by sitting in a classroom all day.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I want to go out and do something. So yeah.
Well, actually, hold on. I take that back. I take it back. I do learn from sitting in a classroom if I'm interested.
If it's interesting.
If I'm like we're here today at this conference, mm-hmm. and I love what we're talking about.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? And so I soak it up like a sponge.
Yeah.
If I can see some kind of result I can get from it,
mm-hmm.
like when I got into financial services and I started learning and go into classes and all mm-hmm. this kind of stuff,
mm-hmm.
it's like, this is my career, this is what I want to do, that was my path.
Absolutely.
And so like I did, but in college and in high school and
mm-hmm.
all of that, it's like I'm not interested, so I'm not going to give you any of my energy,
Right.
Are you the same way?
Same way.
Okay.
I got to be interested in it. Of course, I'm a lot more disciplined now than I was in college, but stuff like this is very much my passion these days. So sitting in a conference and I want to come to this. I didn't get up this morning thinking, I had to go sit to listen to 5 or 6 or 7 speakers today. I was excited about it. So, and that's what, so I definitely soak in stuff like that.
100%. And so you're paying, to come to conferences like this and get the knowledge. And I think that makes a difference too. Mm-hmm. You pay for college. However, the requirements a lot of times is you got to take classes you still don't like.
Right.
I mean, if I'm going to pay for it, I want to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
What
mm-hmm.
I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
But you're having to pay to learn something that you don't enjoy and you're not going to use ever.
Right.
And you're like, this is ridiculous. Like
right.
That's just where my head goes.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Like the first 2 years of the associate's degree is kind of like that, right?
Yes.
It's just high school all over again.
Mm-hmm.
A very
Totally.
expensive high school.
Right. Yep.
Anyway, sorry for anybody listening online. And you went to college. I'm not. It has its place.
Right.
It has its place. But
Oh, it does.
It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I see other avenues to make money.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, in fact, I was led to believe when I was growing up, I was led to believe that if you didn't go to college, you'd end up working at McDonald's for the rest of your life.
Right.
And that's just simply not true.
And
I mean,
I feel like they're kind of trying to
sort of like that. Yeah. I mean, but it's just not a true story.
It's not.
Like now I also say on the back end of that, I say, if you have a college degree never hurt anyone.
No.
So if you go to a job interview, you have a college degree, you're going to have a leg up on someone without it. But to think that you're going to be making $8, $9, $15, whatever dollars an hour at McDonald's for the rest of your life because you never graduated college is just simply not true.
Well, I think what we're seeing in America right now is this wave of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
What I've seen is like, okay, everybody got told your job's not essential.
Right.
Go home.
True.
Okay. The entrepreneurs kept grinding.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me to quit. Like you can't send me home. I'm my own boss, right?
That's right.
So, I think it's just interesting. There's this wave, and people are finding out ways to make money online, and there's a million different ways to do it. In this conference we're here, there's millionaires all up in this conference.
Yep.
Who are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and these people are just making videos and coaching and doing different things. It's pretty cool.
That's true.
So tell me about you. You've got a channel, right? You've got a YouTube channel called Ham Radio 2.0.
Ham Radio 2.0, yep.
What is that all about?
Well, long story short, ham radio is basically two-way radio communications for people who are hobbyists.
Okay.
There's more to it than that, and I could sit here and talk for an hour about it, but I'm sure you don't want to hear that. But it's some of the stuff that we as ham radio operators do is storm chasing. So like when Hurricane Katrina, and while it was going on, we would go out there and kind of report on, it's going this way, the heavy winds this way, hail, whatever. After it was done, after 9/11 and after Katrina and after Hurricane Harvey down here in Texas, communications were knocked out for a day, a couple days, something like that. Katrina, I think it was a whole week, if I'm not mistaken. But the only way, so your cell phone networks are great, but they're not. They were wiped out from the storm, and their cell phone networks aren't really made for everyone to pick up their phone and dial a number at the exact same time. Everybody on AT&T can't dial their numbers at the same time and actually get a signal. So radio communications, ham radio, military radio, this kind of thing was the only way to communicate into and out of the disaster area post the storm of Katrina, Harvey, and all these things. And it's happened a bunch of other places around the world as well. But so two-way radio communications that just basically require a radio and an antenna from point A to point B, no infrastructure, no cell phone networks, no towers, no nothing.
Right.
I mean, we talk through the ionosphere, through the atmosphere.
Wow.
And that's and quite frankly, that's how cell phones work as well. You're sending a signal from your phone to the tower, but you got to have that tower near you for it to work.
It's so interesting. I'm just gonna say this, like all this technology we got. We got our cell phones and the internet and all this stuff. Like I ain't got not a clue how any of this works. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's like there's like things going through the air waves and like it's kind of interesting.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah. So radio technology is all about that. I mean, people think that a lot of people think, oh, radio, nobody uses that anymore. And I'm like, literally everything we do is every Wi-Fi device, every Bluetooth device, every cell phone is a radio wave of some kind. So it's actually used more now than it ever has. There's more ham radio operators in the world now than there ever have been in the history of the hobby. So and that's just one thing they do. So. But I started in that when I was in college, and I started a YouTube channel in 2015, and I just kind of like it. Again, long story short, I was selling radios at the time on a website, and I kept getting the same question over and over again about how to program and how to do this one thing on this one radio. So I just made a very ugly video on YouTube.
I'm gonna give you a mic drop for that. Hold on. Before we go forward, I love that. So you took your frequently asked questions,
right?
And you know what? You made a video about it.
Right.
That's so smart. Okay, first of all, it's going to save you time. All right, somebody asks you the question, you're like, hey, just check this out. Boom. Right?
Right.
That's just smart, man.
Yeah. And I didn't look at that video for like 5 or 6 months. I just put it up on YouTube. I would send people the link, and probably a couple, 3 dozen people, something like that. People would call me and email me and say, oh, here, go watch this. And five or 6 months later, towards the end, that was 2014. Towards the end of that year, maybe around January of 2015, I went back and looked at that video, and it had 6,000 views, and I'm like, what just happened?
Wow.
I was like, there's no way I've sent this link to 6,000 people.
Right.
I sent to probably less than 100 people. And I started doing research on YouTube and started my channel, officially started my channel in May of that year. And then I just kind of like haphazardly did stuff for 2 or 3 years. And I started getting serious about it a couple years before the pandemic. And I had a new IT job lined up. My background's in IT support. I did that for about 15, 16 years prior to the pandemic. And I had a brand new job lined up in the pandemic that never came to fruition because of all the shutdowns and everything.
Sure.
And it was actually supporting a certain type of smartphone. But, and I told my wife, I was like, I've been wanting to do this full time. And at that point, the channel was 5 years old. And I told her, I said, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to try to do this full time. Just see how it goes. At the end of the year, if it doesn't work out, I'll go back. I'll go, put my resume out there and whatnot. And it completely blew up. My channel doubled in size in 2020 and again in 2021.
Oh, dang.
And I hit 100,000 subscribers.
Oh, snap, boy. You got your first 100K.
Yeah,
Let's
that's right.
go.
Yeah. On December 24th of last year. So it was a good Christmas present to myself.
Dang. Okay.
So, yeah. So that was
All right.
fun. And
So I want to dig in for just a second. For all of you career changers out there listening to this, I want you to think about this. This guy, he said, I'm going all in, and it was kind of a hobby starting out, and
Right.
then he just dove in and was like, hey, listen, there is something to this. People are making money doing this, okay? So I'm curious. You made 100K. What, do you know roughly where you're at right now?
about 125.
125,000. Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, it's amazing. What does that mean? Have you found out ways to monetize it yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What does that mean for you? 125,000 subscribers. What are you doing as far as revenue?
Well, mostly affiliate marketing.
Okay.
I do a lot of affiliate links. There's people in the radio industry that have just recently begun to put affiliate tracking on their own websites. So it wasn't really a big thing before 3 or 4 years ago. Like Amazon's had it forever. I was an Amazon associate from way back in the day because I had a blog. When they rolled out the influencer program, I got invited to do that, and I signed up for it. And I've been an influencer since they had that program. And the first year or two, it was no different than the associate. I was like, I have 2 tracking numbers, and they both do the same thing. This is before they rolled out the storefront. Now they've got the storefront, they got videos, they got a bunch of other stuff in the influencer program. They didn't have it first. But so, of course, I've had Amazon for a long, long time, and you can buy radio stuff, antennas, batteries, and whatnot on Amazon. But actual radio vendors have started to put affiliate tracking systems in their own websites now. And now I've got 8 or 10 or 12 different affiliate links, affiliate websites that I can send links to. So that's been the biggest thing so far. And just when I hit 100K, and I shouldn't have waited this long, but when I hit 100K, I started going after brand deals, and I'm started to do that now a little bit as well. So there's
sponsorships
Yeah.
and things like that. So I
Yep.
love that. So I mean, okay, so you're selling other people's products
Correct.
through your channel, right? So you don't have to have all the infrastructure of whatever the product is,
Right.
and delivering and shipping and
Right.
just the whole there's a lot to that, right? And so you don't have to do all that. You just, hey, I'm an affiliate, and when they buy something through your program, boom, and then
Correct.
now you're getting some sponsorship deals and things like that. What's next?
That's a really good question. Scott's next, actually, because I signed
Scott
up.
Simpson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I signed up for the Dark Horse program that they're going to start meeting, I think, next month, and they're going to do their weekend course sometime in January. And so I was talking to him about that last night. I was like, look, I don't really sell anything. I tell people I do when people ask what I do, I say, I do marketing. I do social media marketing because it's easier. People are like, oh, okay, yeah. But if I say I run a YouTube channel full time, they're like, how does that work?
Yeah.
I'm
a YouTuber.
Yeah. And if I have time to converse with people, I'll tell them that's what I do. But just in kind of like social gatherings, I'm a social media marketer. So I don't really sell anything. I just push other people's products, and I do a lot of reviews on equipment, just all kinds of equipment. And it's never really been like...
And they pay you for those reviews, right? You get paid for some of those?
Generally, no.
No? Okay.
I don't like to do paid reviews because I don't think they're very genuine. Now, I will do... Some companies have paid me to do a how-to, like say, okay, here's how to program this radio, here's how to use this radio, here's how to set it up, how to do this. But an actual review, I don't like to get paid for those just because I don't think they're very authentic.
I got paid to do a review once. They reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we want you to review this." It was a tech product for, career search. It was a talent acquisition kind of a tool.
Okay.
And so I was like, I felt the same way, right? I felt the same way. I was like, I don't want to like deceive my audience or,
Right.
Put my name behind something that I don't really know anything about. But they reached out and they're like, here's some cash flow.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, let me think creatively about this. And so they were going to pay me, it wasn't a ton of money, but when I think about it, it's pretty sweet. They were going to pay me $500 just to make a video.
Sure.
Make a little, and it didn't have to be long video. We're talking a news feed video, not a YouTube video, not a long form video, a news feed 60-second video, right? And I'm like, okay, shoot, 60-second video? All right. And so what I did is I went to the audience and I said, hey, guys, here's the deal. There's this new product, right? From what I'm reading about it, it says it does X, Y, and Z, and I think that's all amazing stuff. Like what they're promising sounds like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I want to know from you, what are your thoughts, feedback? If you go check it out, make sure you send me your feedback because I'm looking for tools to share with my audience. So it was more like I'm not saying I endorse it. I'm saying, hey, there's this thing and it's saying it does X, Y, and Z. I want you to check it out. Tell me. And that was kind of the way I spun it. So that way I'm not giving an endorsement, but if it does what it says it does, then everybody needs to check it out.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to approach it, I think.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. I've started to do kind of a little bit sort of like that with some of my audience. Of course, I have, my audience is good. I have an email subscriber list that I email with, send out email blast 1 or 2 times a week. And those are kind of like my core audience followers because I'll ask a question, say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or go here and follow this link. I found this new product or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I stumbled upon this thing and
Right.
check it out. Let me know what you think. Like, give me your feedback. I want to know.
Right, exactly.
Because actually the end user of this product was for job seekers, and I'm not a job seeker. So really, so I wanted their feedback. I want to know, is this the real deal or is this a bunch of smoke and mirrors? Because I have had people come on our show and talk about some certain products, and they have been smoke and mirrors. I had this one guy. It was an application automation.
Okay.
Right? You go online and you're applying online, right? And so this thing would, you basically put in your resume and you put in some certain criteria, and it would, we talk about shotgun approach. It wasn't a shotgun approach. It was a machine gun approach. It would just out the applications, right? And so I'm like, well, that's cool. But if it's working, and he was saying, you're going to get, your phone's going to be blowing up from all these interviews, and, people are going to be blowing you off the hook. So I told my audience to go check it out, and they said the activity went up, which was cool. They said their profile views went up on LinkedIn and stuff like that, so they were getting eyeballs.
Okay.
They were getting eyeballs. However, it wasn't the eyeballs they were wanting. So I did look at it, and I said, hey, you know what? It's still a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Eyeballs are never a bad thing, even if they're not the right eyeballs.
True.
It's not your target audience. It's still, you're getting attention, and where attention goes, money flows. And so, anyway, but I did have some products come on, and we talked about them, and sometimes they're smoke and mirrors. It didn't really do what it was supposed to.
Right. Yeah, and I've had some, sometimes, stuff in China is real big right now in the radio world, everywhere actually. And sometimes I'll get these random companies will send me something, and I'll go through it for a couple hours one day. I'll be like, I can't make a video about this. It's just
You're
not.
like, nah.
It's not up to standard, or it's not doing what you're saying it's going to do, or something.
Well, then there you go, man. You know what? When you find that stuff, talk crap about it.
Yep. Well,
just be like, yeah, this product's doo-doo.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right. Yep.
But no, but seriously, because that's authentic too. If you don't like something, tell us the truth. Tell the audience the truth. I'm one of those people, if you haven't noticed by now, like I'm very authentic, just I am who I am.
Yeah.
Unapologetically. and I'm gonna tell the audience how I feel about things.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna lie. Even if it was a review or something like that, I'm not, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it.
Right.
To me, if I lose trust, like, it's all about trust for me, right? I do all of this. It's all about building the know, like, and trust with my audience. I mean, that's the whole reason why I do this, and I think it's the reason why most people do this stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, I think, and you've heard it here a bunch of times. This is the third time I've attended this conference, and people are. You hear it a lot. Authenticity,
Yeah,
is key. Authenticity and impact and influence and an audience. You're building a community. You're building an audience, and you don't build an audience in a community that trusts you by lying to them and say, "Oh, hey, go buy this great product that they paid me to tell you to go buy," and then it doesn't work.
People can smell it, man.
Right.
They can just smell a snake, bro. They can they can see it, feel it. I mean, you know it. When it's snake oil, right?
Oh yeah.
You just feel it, and there's this weird energy about it. You know what I'm saying? There's a weird energy, and you can just feel it. And I think people are looking for that, right? I mean, they're looking for the real deal because there's so many. Okay, there's a psychology behind this. Think about it. How many advertisements are we hearing on a daily basis?
Oh gosh.
Like, how
Thousands.
many? Right.
Yeah.
I wonder what that number is. I don't know what it is. But if I had to imagine, you're probably right. In the thousands every day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, from your phone to this show to whatever, right? There's advertisements. I mean, driving, you see billboards.
Billboards on the highway, and now the digital billboards on the highway, they have 4 advertisements on them. They pan across screens and whatnot, so it's not just one thing anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so you're bombarded by it.
Right.
And so I think, like, it's an adaptability of our, I don't know. We're adapting to it, and so we are like, you can smell it. You can just identify, like, this is, and we're not like, it doesn't necessarily turn you off. I don't think it necessarily turns you off, but people don't like to be sold.
Right.
They want to buy. People love to buy.
Yeah. Yes.
We love to buy, but
yeah.
we don't want to be sold. Right. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
They want it to be their idea. Right. If it's your idea and you're pushing it, and that's like, don't come to my front door.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you got to convince them that that's what they need.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm not, and quite frankly, I've never been a salesman. I've never really, I've tried sales before, and I'm like, I am not good at this.
You are good at it. Let me tell you why. Because the way you're doing it, you are selling. You're selling through it, but the way you're doing it,
but
the way
different.
it is different because they're coming to you.
Right.
They're watching your video. You're not actually there in the room with this pressure situation.
Right.
Because at any moment they could turn off the video.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
If there's zero pressure.
Yeah.
All value, zero pressure. That's why video does so well in the selling environment.
Right.
There's zero pressure. You turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
I get comments on some of my videos, and these are fans of mine. These are people that I enjoy communicating with, and they'll come on the video and they say, "All right, Jason, how are you going to spend my money today?" And I love that because I'm like, I'm not forcing you to buy anything. I'm just telling you where the sales are.
Here's what it is. If you don't like it, turn it off.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. I mean, it's that easy. But so you're not really doing. You're not like selling. What you're doing is you're reverse engineering it so that, again, people love to buy.
Right.
So they're coming to you to buy stuff, and you're the trusted guy because it's zero pressure. And so I love it, man. I think that what's next? What's next for you?
You know what? I mean, obviously I'm going to continue growing my YouTube channel. I've got a couple of smaller channels that I've started to kind of put some time into. I don't know if you know what overlanding is. You ever heard?
Overland, yeah, my brother. Check this out. So you check him out. You follow him, the Overland Chef.
Okay, I
right.
think I've heard of him.
Yeah, my brother Jesse Houston.
Okay,
the Overland Chef. So my brother Jesse Houston, he is a chef. He's owned restaurants. He oftentimes will get paid to go into restaurants and open them, like create the menu and the environment and all that stuff. So he's a freaking genius. He's an amazing chef. Okay. And he's recently got this kick with this whole overland thing, and so he's putting all these products together on his truck, and his truck's all, and he's camping,
Yeah.
and he's cooking these gourmet chef, just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Over campfires
Nice.
with a truck and the overland equipment. And
Yeah. Yeah.
check him out, man.
I'll go look him up because that's what I want to do.
Oh, yeah?
I started a second channel and I call it Unplugged.
Okay.
And it's just about being off grid,
Nice.
camping, van life, this kind of thing. It hadn't really found its sea legs yet, but that's what I'm doing to my truck is something similar to that.
I got a roof nest.
Yeah. Oh, is that your truck out there?
Yeah,
I parked
yeah.
next to you yesterday.
Yeah, I got the roof nest.
I
Loved it.
saw the roof nest. That was good.
My brother Jesse's got one too.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of. I love camping. I love getting out of the doors.
So do I. And
So-
that's very ham radio adjacent. A lot of those guys. Those guys will use CB radios, or they'll have some sort of like FRS or GMRS radios, and some of them are hams. In fact, I met a lot of ham radio operators at these overland events I've been going to, but some of them will think, oh, well, I've heard of ham radio, tell me about it. So it's kind of like a niche that aligns very well with what I'm already doing. So I'm like, let's just try to do, so I'm trying to go that way, but I'm not going to stop the ham radio thing. I'm just trying to do kind of the same thing I've done over here, but do it in this niche and kind of marry them together and go that route with it.
That's awesome, man. I mean, all the luck to you. I know you're going to crush it. You're already crushing it. You've already got a formula figured out, because if you've hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, man, you're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
So, man, that's awesome. Congratulations to you.
Thanks.
I love that you decided to dive in and build a business around your passion and quit working for the man.
Right. That's correct.
Now you're the man.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know, and a little bit of cash flow.
That's right.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.